BTCpay Server is open source software that allows anyone to become an online merchant accepting Bitcoin and eliminate trusted third parties. Today we're going to take a look at how to set up your own BTCpay server and begin accepting payments immediately. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions, and this is your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, quick shout out to sponsors of the show, Shakepay.com. If you're in Canada and you're buying Bitcoin, this is one of the easiest ways to do it. E-transfers for quick deposits, no deposit or withdrawal fees. If you use the link down below and you sign up and buy your first $100 worth of Bitcoin, you'll get $30 for free. You get the same deal when you refer friends and family. And after that, you can shake your phone every single day for free sats. They also have a sats back Visa card. Be sure to check them out. I also have a full tutorial on how to use them. That is on the YouTube channel. LEDN.io allows you to use Bitcoin for a ton of different services, including, but not limited to, if you're in a pinch and you need to get your hands on dollars, but you don't want to sell your Bitcoin because, of course, that's a taxable event, and maybe you're worried about having to buy back in at a higher price. Well, you can deposit Bitcoin here and get a loan of dollars to your bank account within 24 hours. When you pay back those dollars, you get back the same amount of Bitcoin. They also have savings accounts for Bitcoin and USDC. They have their B2X offering, and they're starting to dabble into Bitcoin mortgages. So keep your eyes open for that. Links are down below. Bitrefill is an absolute godsend if you are living on Bitcoin or just exercising some high time preference. Maybe you want to treat yourself. It works in a ton of different countries, and you can buy any gift card your little heart desires with Bitcoin, both on chain and via Lightning. You earn sats back as you shop, and if you want to earn some extra sats, you can check out their referral program as well. Check them out in the show notes. Keystone, one of my favorite and most used hardware wallets. It is 100% air gap, meaning you never plug it into anything internet connected. Everything's done offline via QR code. That keeps the keys to your money safe and away from internet connections. Highly recommend you upgrade to the Bitcoin only firmware. It works beautifully with Blue Wallet, Sparrow, Spectre, all that stuff. Also awesome in a multi-sig. So check them out. Links are below. And finally, if you're backing up any important Bitcoin wallet, you're going to want to get it in solid steel. Paper does not cut it. Fire damage, water damage, things you want to avoid, or just accidentally discarding the thing. I've heard horror stories, people with their paper backups. So get it in steel. This is how I back up my important Bitcoin wallets with the BillFodl over at privacypros.io. You can grab one now. And with that, let's dive into the show. BTCpay server started as a project in response to some of the less than desirable practices of some of the centralized payment processors in the Bitcoin space, namely BitPay. So BTCpay server popped up. It is open source. Anybody can contribute, anybody can use and fork the project, whatever you want. But it is one of the most important projects in the space, definitely. And so you can use it in a variety of different flavors. So over on the BTCpay website, you can actually just download BTCpay server. It will download an entire copy of the Bitcoin blockchain, and you can link it up with a Lightning node you may have running. However, if you do it that way, of course, you've got to have, in order for your store to continue working while you're away, you got to have your computer continuously on and running. So that's something to take into account. But that is a way you can do it. You don't need any special hardware. You just need a computer and to download the program. Now, another way you can do this is with a plug and play node, maybe something like Umbrel or MyNode or Start9, or I believe Ronin Dojo has it as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'll find out soon because I'm going to do a video on that as well. But regardless, you can have a plug and play, small, cheap device, just always connected to the internet, running in your home, and you can run that as an app on there. Now, there's a couple extra things to consider when doing that, but just know that it is available as an app on something like Umbrel, which I've done a video on as well. Now, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be using Voltage. So what Voltage does is they actually run the node infrastructure for you on their own servers, but you retain all of the keys and credentials necessary in order to access BTCpay server, meaning they don't have any of the credentials to even be able to access anything that you own, any important sensitive information like your private keys. So you hold that, they just run the necessary node infrastructure. So we're going to be using Voltage, and I'm going to be referring to a couple other things that Voltage can help along with throughout this video. And if you're curious about them, I do have a link down below if you want to check them out. But voltage.cloud is where this is happening. And the only other prerequisite here would be familiarizing yourself with Sparrow Wallet, because we're going to use that as our receiving on-chain wallet for our BTCpay server, and maybe a little bit of Lightning Network stuff, which we'll dive into momentarily, namely using Flow, perhaps, to get inbound liquidity to your Lightning node on Voltage. If that all sounds like Greek to you, don't worry, we're going to dive in, we're going to get started right now. Now, just a little side note here in terms of Voltage and why somebody might use them. Well, like I was saying with downloading BTCpay server, obviously your laptop or computer has to be running at all times in order to be accepting payments. In terms of you're running your own node in a dedicated device, that's fantastic. At the current time while watching this, you may not have access to something like a Raspberry Pi to set one of those up. There's been a lot of disruptions in terms of getting that type of infrastructure or the supply chain getting those types of pieces of hardware out to people or being created in the first place. So you may just not have access to the hardware, or it may be a little bit more expensive to set up than you need. And so this may be a good in-between step. And the nicest thing about this is if you just want to play and start again, you can just go ahead and start. So here we are on our account on Voltage, already signed up and signed in. And what you're going to want to do first, of course, if you're using Voltage, and by the way, these initial steps may be replaced with perhaps just downloading BTCpay server onto your laptop or running your Umbrel and getting that app. But this is the way we're doing it today. So what we're going to want to do initially here is add some Bitcoin or some credit to our account. So just in billing here, if you want to add node credit, you can pick an amount, whatever you like. You can hit fill up, and then you'll be given an option to either send Bitcoin on chain or via Lightning, or use a credit card if you see fit. Okay. Now I've already got a credit here. I've already got 10 bucks sitting there. So I am all good to get started. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set up a couple different nodes. Now, a couple, what do you mean? Well, first we're going to go into nodes here. Flow, I referred to earlier. I do have a video on it. It will be linked below, but I digress. Click on nodes, and you're going to be presented with different types of nodes that you can create. So we're going to hit create a node. Now, what kind of node do you want? We're doing a BTCpay server here. However, I want this BTCpay server to be able to accept Lightning payments as well. Okay, and so we're going to actually start up a Lightning node first before we set up our BTCpay server, because we're going to say, hey, we want on-chain and we want Lightning, and we're going to use this Lightning node to do it. So it's important that we do our Lightning node first. Now, you have some options in terms of what type of a Lightning node you want. A light node is backed by Neutrino, which means that it doesn't hold an entire copy of the Bitcoin blockchain. It still verifies everything, but then it doesn't hold that data forever. Okay. A standard node has a full Bitcoin node at all times, having all of the information of every previous transaction. And then a pro node, the previous two are Tor only, whereas the last one is ClearNet. I don't see that as super necessary for myself right now. And all of this is billed hourly. So like for the light node, it's 1.7 cents per hour. So if you just want to play around with this, super fun to be able to do it and not blow a ton of money. And then if you like it, then you can keep going. So that's what I really like about Voltage here. Standard is 4.3 cents per hour. Pro, that's where you'd be contacting them for specific pricing. Okay, so we're just going to do a light node for this. We're going to hit create. So we'll just call it tutorial test. And then we're going to create a password for your Lightning node. Okay, now the password, this is different from your login to Voltage, because your login to Voltage, obviously they will know your password because that's how you get onto their site. But your password for your Lightning node is a secure password that they will not be privy to. Okay, it says here, you write down your password. You will need it to unlock your node. Your node's seed and macaroons are encrypted with the password. Losing this password means losing access to backups, and Voltage cannot reset it. So this is your password. It encrypts all your data. This is what makes it so that Voltage cannot access any of your funds going through the Lightning node itself. Okay, so very important, secure password, not the same as your login. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll jump ahead. Once your node has successfully spun up, you will be booted into this screen here. You'll just need to enter your password once to unlock it. And here we go. I can see that I've got everything up and running. Everything seems to be working as intended. And so I'm going to leave this here temporarily. And we're going to go back. We're just going to navigate through the top right here. We're going to go back to nodes. And now we're going to create one more new node. And this is going to be our BTCpay server. Okay, now this one again, 1.2 cents per hour. And we're going to hit create. And now we're going to name our store. And then it asks, do we want to connect to a Voltage node? And we're going to connect, of course, to the one that we created, the tutorial test, our Lightning node that we just spun up. And then we need our password for that node. We're going to hit create. So once you have spun up your BTCpay server node, you will see this screen here, and it has all the information about your store that you've set up, and you can click on launch BTCpay dashboard, and you will be prompted to log in using your username, which is the email that you signed up with, and then the default password here. Okay, and once you logged in, this is what it will look like, assuming that you've already gone through the steps of setting up your Lightning node. It will say create your store, green check. Set up a Lightning node, green check. Set up a wallet. And this is what we need to do next. Okay, so we're going to hit set up a wallet, and we can connect an existing wallet or create a new wallet. We're not going to go ahead and do that. We're just going to connect something existing. Okay, so if I connect an existing wallet, it gives me lots of different options. Connect a hardware wallet, import a wallet file, enter an extended public key. I can scan a QR code, enter a wallet seed. That is not recommended because you'd be sharing all of the credentials necessary to spend any money that goes into it as well. So we're going to actually go ahead and import a wallet file. Okay, or we're going to import an extended public key. Okay, so I have on the other screen, I have Sparrow Wallet set up. Okay, and Sparrow Wallet, I've done a full tutorial on. You can check that out if you need a primer on how it works. But basically, I've already set up this wallet, and just within settings down at the bottom, we can see our extended public key right here. So I can actually copy this information, and this will give us all of the addresses that we need. It will be able to generate addresses from our BTCpay for us. So we're going to hit enter extended public key. We'll paste that in. We'll hit continue. And then it shows us a list of addresses. So what we want to kind of do is just double check, hey, are these the correct addresses for this wallet? Because otherwise, who knows who's going to be receiving this money, right? So just make note of the last few digits of the first few wallets, UQNF, YEGU, KNXL, and then we'll just go to addresses here, UQNF, YEGU, KNXL. That all looks good to me. So we're just going to hit confirm. And there we go. We now have our wallet set up, our Lightning set up, and our BTCpay server store set up. So now we can actually head back to the dashboard. Everything looks all good, and we can start to actually use BTCpay. And the first step we're going to be doing is creating a new app. Let's find out what that is.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Now, it's important to note in regards to your Lightning node how to go about getting inbound liquidity, because you actually need to be able to receive payments to your Lightning node, and just having a Lightning node running is not enough. You need to have somebody open a channel with you. Okay, so my infrastructure here under nodes, and just to kind of recenter ourselves, if we go to the top right, that's where we're on nodes right now. We can see our LND node for Lightning, and we can see our BTCpay server. If I go view, I'll be prompted to input my password again. So in order to have to be able to receive payments on your Lightning node, you need to have that inbound liquidity. You need to have somebody open a channel to you. And where you would get that information is over here on the left-hand side on network. And under URIs, you can copy this information. You can give it to anyone. You can use a variety of different services, whatever you may need to do in order to get a channel open to you. Now, of course, Voltage does have a service called Flow. Again, you can access that by tapping in the top right and going to Flow. I do have a full video on how to use Flow. You can check that out if that's something that you'd like to do. Alternatively, you can share this information with anybody that is willing to open a channel to you, or use something like Bitrefill. There's a lot of different options out there. Just keep that in mind in terms of receiving Lightning payments. Otherwise, you'll run into issues. All right, so we are now going to create something that allows us to receive payment, an actual storefront, if you will. So we're going to go down to apps, and we're going to hit new app. And now it says, what type of app is this? If you hit the drop down, there's two options, point of sale or crowdfund. We'll get into a crowdfund in a moment, but we're going to go a point of sale first. Okay, and we'll just call it first test store. We'll hit create. Now, we're going to give it a title. We're going to have a main currency. We're going to do all of this stuff here. So we'll just go test store 1. Okay, we can type in whatever you want. Hey, this is my store. Please buy as much as you can. Marketing. You can do anything you like here. You can edit, add in images, whatever you like. And then there are your products down below. Okay. And so at this point, you can edit, delete, do whatever you like with any of these products. You can swap out the pictures. Let's just, in the interest of kind of cutting down on the amount of stuff on the screen, we'll just delete a few of these products here. We don't need all of these. We'll just keep 2. Okay, let's edit one of them. And so what is the title of this product? We'll just say it's a smile. And then we're going to give it a price. This is in US dollars. So we'll just say 1 is fine. Okay, just because it's a test. And then I will just say, I will smile for you. Hopefully you're selling better products than I am. Now, inventory means how many are available. Just for argument's sake, we'll say I'm only willing to smile a total of 10 times. After that, I'm all out. I can give it an ID. Let's call it smile. And then the button that allows somebody to purchase it. What is that going to say? We'll just say add to cart. Okay. So I'm selling 1 smile for $1. There's a description. There's only 10 available. There's an ID of smile, and the button will say add to cart. And then I want an image of a smile. So you just need to pull an image from the web, wherever that may be. So we'll just search smile images. Okay. There. That looks great. Okay, so we'll just open that image in a new tab. And I'm just going to copy that URL. We'll jump back to BTCpay and we'll just paste that in here. Let's save changes. There we go. My smile for $1. And then how about we do a frown? I'll sell frowns too. Images. Where's a good frown here? There we go. That looks fantastic. Open the image in a new tab. We'll copy that. Jump back to BTCpay, and we'll fill this out as a frown. Frowns, yeah, they'll stay at $1. We'll post in that image. I will frown for you. We'll call it frown. 10 frowns available as well. Frown, and the button can say again, add to cart. Save changes. There we go. You get smiles or frowns. There we go. So that's pretty much, again, just for example's sake, that's pretty much all I need to do here. Now, in terms of appearance, it says point of sale. Do you want items in a list only, list and cart, keypad only, print? So I'm going to do one with a cart, and then text to display for each button for items with a specific price. Buy for $1. That's all good. Require refund email on checkout. We will go into the settings and set that later. Users can put in a discount. I'm not going to put in a discount percent. Let's see what else. Do we want a custom amount? No, we don't want to do that. That would be more for donations. Do you want to enable tips? I'm not going to leave a tip thing here. Okay. Redirects. And this is where if you have a website set up, you could input a redirect URL, meaning that it would redirect to a thank you for purchasing after you finish with BTCpay, after it receives money, so on and so forth. I don't need anything else there, so I'll just hit save here. That looks good. All right. And if I click on first test store over on the left-hand side, everything is all set up, and I can hit view, and here's my store. Again, not super pretty. I did it in 2 seconds, but hey, you know, I've got 2 different options. I've got smiles and frowns. If I add to cart, then I can see, well, there's that's going to cost me $1. Okay. If I add a frown, okay, great. I've got one of those as well. I can adjust those up and down. And if I hit confirm, then I will be brought, well, let's do a little bit more. We'll get 5 of each. Okay, so I'm going to be spending $10 here. Okay, so I'll hit confirm. I'm ready to pay. This is what the checkout looks like for an individual that wants to buy 5 frowns and 5 smiles. And they have the option to pay with Bitcoin or to pay with Lightning. We'll do on-chain Bitcoin first because we want to see what that looks like. So I'm going to be pulling open a wallet that I have on my phone here. I've got Moon Wallet here. Not a lot in it right now, but we'll try sending over some funds. So I'm going to hit send. I'm going to scan this QR code. And I just hit send, and off it went. And it should pop up on the screen. There we go. Invoice has been paid. And that's that. If I had a redirect, this would jump back to a website or something like that, but I haven't set that up as of yet. We'll take a look at what that'll look like in a moment, and we'll just return to the tutorial store. And so what that looks like in a couple different areas, within BTCpay, we can see we now have a notification up here with the bell. So we can drop that down. Hey, I've got an invoice. It was confirmed, paid. I can also go down to invoices. I can say, hey, look, there's an invoice here that was settled for $10 US. If I do the drop down, I can see all of the details here. So I can see, hey, this individual, they paid $10. They bought a smile. In particular, they bought 5 of them. There's a count of 5. They bought a frown, and it looks like they also bought 5 of these, okay? And so I can get a breakdown of every single invoice that I get through my store. And this is where, you know, if somebody's buying tickets to an event or anything like that, you can allow them to pay via this, and you can get all the information that you need. Now, because we received an on-chain payment, remember we previously set up our wallet using an XPub from Sparrow Wallet, which is on our desktop. And I'm going to jump over there, and it's been a few minutes, so there's been some confirmations here. But if I jump over to Sparrow Wallet, I can see, look, there's that incoming transaction that we just got for just over, right around $10 for the smiles and the frowns. But that goes direct to me. Voltage has nothing to do with that because it's my XPub, and I have the keys residing on this device. Alternatively, it could be a hardware wallet that you're using with Sparrow, whatever you like. But this is kind of my preferred way to use it, is get whatever wallet, again, whether it be hardware or hot, whatever, within Sparrow, and then just go to settings, pull the XPub, and use that for my BTCpay. So within that store, when we made the purchase, there was no option to leave an email or anything like that. And so that's where we're going to get into some of the settings and some of the nitty gritty that you can do here. So just from your BTCpay server, if you go to settings on the left-hand side and you go to checkout appearance, you can have a lot of different changes here in terms of default payment method on checkout, whether it be on-chain or off-chain, meaning on-chain or Lightning. And then enable payment methods when the amount is greater than or less than. So if you don't want to have on-chain payments for less than $5, then you can change that so it's only Lightning for smaller amounts, okay? Now, what we'd like to do is require a refund email. So if we check that, then it will make sure that a person leaves an email if they make a purchase. So particularly useful for something where maybe there's a meetup or there's an event coming up where you need to know who has tickets and who bought what, and something's given out physically. You need to know what email purchased what items, okay? We saw a breakdown when we had an invoice there, but we didn't see who paid it, okay? So this is what will allow you to associate an email with a purchase. Now, you can also use BTCpay server to set up a crowdfund, as we saw before. The way you would do that is down at the bottom, you would create a new app. You would hit the drop-down menu for the app type and choose crowdfund. And then we can give it a name, Test Fundraiser. We'll hit create. Same thing as before. Give it a display title, a tagline, testing donations. You can send me test sats here. Okay. You can again add pictures or links or, you know, basically edit everything and make it look pretty. But again, this is just an example. Now, do you want to make this crowdfund public? Right now, it's only visible to you. To make this visible to anyone, enable this. So you just tap that on if you want to make it public. Give a target amount, maybe $100. And then you can give a start date and an end date. I'm just going to leave it as is. If you have a time limit or you're trying to raise a certain amount of money before a certain date, then you would put that here. And then you can reset the goal every, you know, hour or day or month or year or X number. You don't need to do that if you don't want to. And then you can also add perks. Say if somebody donates a certain amount, what are they going to get in return, so on and so forth. You can sort contribution perks by popularity, display contribution rankings, display contribution values, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's pretty much that. But you can play around quite a bit. But I'm just going to save this. And now I can go and I can view what it would look like to somebody coming there. So I can see donations currently active, $100 is the goal, how much has been raised, what percent of the goal is it, and then if I want to contribute, then I would select an amount, continue, And then I would obviously input an email address, hit continue, and then I could either pay, again, on-chain, or if it was enabled, Lightning, okay? So I can make changes to this as I see fit, but basically you can set up a crowdfund inside of just a few minutes here, all right? So that's pretty much it for in terms of what you might want to do with BTCpay server and what you can do. It does have plugins for things like WooCommerce and a whole bunch of other things if you have an existing website. What I'd like to show you guys now, though, is something that I've done on my own website that would link to my own page. Okay, so basically you can link to it just by copying the URL here and having that link from your main website, or you can link it in with WooCommerce or a few other payment service providers if you choose to do so. So let's take a look at what I've set up for my own website. So here we are on my website, and again, this isn't yet accessible from going to the website, but it's just kind of in test mode right now. But basically, I've got a couple events, and let me just get myself off the screen here. I've got a couple events. I'm going to be going to New York and possibly doing some workshops, and so I've set up on my own website just a couple different workshops that people can opt to go to if they so choose. And so you can, click on an individual workshop, get more of the information on it. What is it? What's going on? What would you learn? And if you hit the RSVP button, it actually takes you to a BTCpay server page that I've set up. And so it's got the prices of the items here. I just defaulted them to $1 each just for example's sake. But let's say you wanted to go to the cold card workshop and you also wanted to pick up the cold card bundle. I wrote the prices in the individual items here, but you can see it just defaults to $1 up here because I haven't changed that yet because I'm doing some testing and I don't want to be sending around a few $100s every single time. But regardless, I have that all set up now. So let's say I was going to go to the New York cold card workshop and I wanted the bundle there for when I arrived. I can hit confirm and then pay. It's going to ask me for a refund email. And so for me, this is how I would keep track of who bought what. And somebody would put in their refund email and hit continue. And let's say they wanted to pay in Lightning. So let's do a demo Lightning transaction. So I've got a Lightning wallet open, and maybe I'll just bring myself onto the screen. So I've got just like a wallet of Satoshi here open, and I can scan that invoice. See, it's $2. It wouldn't actually be that price, but I'm getting a hell of a deal right now. I hit pay, and it should just go off no problem in just a moment here. Okay, perfect. So I can see on the screen that it has been paid. It's showing that on my phone as well, payment sent. And then I did a redirect. I showed you you can do a redirect back to your own website, and it does exactly that. As soon as payment is received, it jumps back to my website and says, hey, thanks, your purchase is complete. All information of your purchase was saved in our system associated with your email address you used at checkout. When you arrive to the event, simply give this email to check in and receive any items you may have purchased. So that's just a way that I've kind of found and decided works best for a workshop. We'll see. I'm still testing and figuring out stuff. But of course, this is just a simple example of a way that you might set up a store. Now, if you're selling actual physical items that need to be shipped, that's where you might use some of the integrations that can work with BTCpay server. And just to show you examples of that, if you scroll down a little bit on the BTCpay server website, Zapier, WooCommerce, WordPress, Magento, there's a number of different things that you can use to work it into an existing store that accepts other forms of payment as well. So if you have that set up, if you're using WordPress for your website, it's pretty easy to integrate BTCpay server into it. I'm not covering that today. I just wanted to show you kind of the simplest ins and outs of that. But more or less, this is how you can set up your own BTCpay server in a very short amount of time without needing specialized equipment or anything. You can just get going on it right away. Of course, you can get a lot more granular with stuff like this. You can do things like sending out an email every time somebody makes a purchase. You can obviously link it into stores where physical items will ship, but this video isn't meant to be how to build a website and build a store. It's just meant to show you kind of the ins and outs of BTCpay server itself. Now, regarding that redirect where after making a payment, it went directly back to my website to a thank you page, you can set that by going to settings, checkout appearance, and then right here within invoice settings, we of course required a refund email so that we can keep track of who bought what. But then down below it, redirect invoice to redirect URL automatically after paid. So you have to have that checked. And then within the actual test event tickets, the redirect URL is under redirects here. And then I just have the btcsessions.ca/thank you. And so that's how it knows where it needs to go. So the redirect itself comes from the app itself that you have set up. So this is my test event tickets that I've been doing, and has all the information for that. Now, I just wanted to show you, this is with a different account, but the one that is associated with my website. And so I've been doing some testing here, and you can see over on the left-hand side, we went here before, but under payments and invoices, this is how I would utilize BTCpay to see, okay, who bought what. And so let's see that top one that we just received. That's from today when I'm recording. If I go to details, then I can see, oh, here's an email address associated with that. And then again, I scroll down and I can see, look, somebody got the New York cold card workshop, and they got one of them. And then they also got the device bundle, and they got one of them. So then I would basically have a list of email addresses and then checks as to what a person received. So they show up to the event. Oh, you've got tickets and you've got a cold card bundle. Here you go. So I've got proof. It also has some other details here, like how was this payment made? It says whether or not it was made on chain or whether it was made elsewhere. And we can see that information if we scroll down to the bottom, invoice summary. Here's off chain, and we can see that the payment was received there and there's nothing left owing. And then the on-chain payment, there's nothing there because it was all made via the Lightning Network. So that's where I can see. And here's the off-chain payments. The singular payment was right here. Okay, so we get more details here, so on and so forth, but pretty much that's all the information that I need to know as a vendor in regards to something like an event. Of course, if you want to access your on-chain funds, then you go to your associated wallet. But if you want to access your Lightning funds, of course, Voltage is running a Lightning node for you, which is encrypted with your password. In order to access that, you need to go to your nodes and then select your LND node. And once you're inside that, after unlocking it with your passport, you can go down to dashboards, and you'll see a button here to spin up a temporary virtual dashboard that allows you to access sending, receiving, opening channels, all that kind of stuff. It will be here, and it is with ThunderHub. Now, I've done a full video on how to utilize ThunderHub, so I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of how it works here. You can check that out with my Lightning node tutorial, which is in the show notes as well. Lots of prerequisites here, but if you click launch dashboard, once it spins up, you'll be able to log into ThunderHub with your pre-made password that you made yourself to get onto your node via Voltage. Here you'll see all the information about your node. You'll be able to send and receive payments, whatever you like. You'll also be able to close out channels, open channels, all that kind of stuff. I can see my channels for the one associated with my website is here. So there's a couple channels that are connected to me, and that gives me my inbound liquidity to be able to receive Lightning payments. So that is all set up there. And again, this can just be accessed through here, through the LND node and your dashboards. All in all, I think that BTCpay server is an excellent tool for anybody that wants to become a merchant online. Obviously, I didn't dive into the nitty-gritty again of doing your own store and everything here with actual shipping and some of the more intricate things you can do with BTCpay. But hopefully this gave you a good overview of the basics of setup and what you can do with either a store or a crowdfund. I highly recommend you check it out. And again, also shout out to Voltage for making it super easy to be able to spin one of these up right away with no need for setting up a dedicated device or downloading the entire blockchain. It all just kind of resides there on Voltage Cloud. And that's also an invaluable resource for those that want to tinker and learn and then maybe not have to worry about any of that infrastructure. Anyways, let me know what you thought of BTCpay server or of Voltage in this instance of using BTCpay, or let me know how you specifically are using BTCpay, whether it be with Voltage or on your own node or running the entire thing on a dedicated computer. Let me know in the comments down below and any questions you may have. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do hit like, subscribe, share, all those things. Super important. They help get these videos in front of more eyeballs. If you want to help the show in another way, you can always hit up the previously mentioned sponsors in the show notes down below. There are also links down there for all of the prerequisites that I mentioned and for Voltage if you want to check them out. And if you really liked what you saw, you can always drop me a Bitcoin tip either on Twitter or at my Strike page. That is strike.me/BTC sessions. You head there, you type in any amount you'll like, and when you hit the tip button, you'll be greeted with a Lightning invoice, or if you tap to the right, a regular Bitcoin QR code. With that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, and I'll see you guys next time for your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.